SOSG, 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 standing on solid ground. Hello, this is Kim with Standing on Solid Ground. I am your host of this motivational and inspirational podcast. And the Bible verse today is Ephesians 6:16. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. Now, the shield of faith is that shield to protect our face, our heart, our body, our spirit, our souls. That protection, as it is described here, someone had given a definition, the fourth piece of the armor Paul discusses in Ephesians 6 is the shield of faith. He tells us to take up the shield of faith in order to extinguish all the fiery darts or arrows of the evil one. If you think about the Romans and the fights that they had when they used the bow and arrow, they shot off arrows and they had shields. If you remember, some of them had shields. Some of them can be stopped, and some of them cannot. Some of them did hit the body. Now, we don't know how big our shield is, but the most important thing is knowing how to use that shield to extinguish the fiery darts. What are the fiery darts in some examples? Words. Words can be fiery darts. Have you ever been in a heated argument with someone and the one thing that most people always do is say things that will hurt someone else? Have you ever been in arguments like that where one person would say something and then someone else will come back and they will say something else that will be hurtful, and it escalates because, oh, you're going to say that about me and hurt my feelings. Well, I'm going to say this about you and hurt your feelings. And it goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But it never really gets anywhere. It never really say what is being said, because we're so busy attacking one another. And that's what words do. They attack. Now it gets to the point of text messaging. That when you send a text message, somebody will send a text message back. Then you'll send a text message and they'll send a text message. And the fighting goes that way. Now, the difference is between arguing with your mouth and arguing with your text message. If you lie and say, I didn't say that, you can go back to that text message and say, yes, you did. This is what you said. The text message don't lie, because you're verbally going back and forth with each other. And you cannot say you did not say it, because that text message is a mark. It's stamped. It's stamped with the time and date. So the argument can be more valid, because these are the words that we're stating. And it's amazing how with the police department and investigators, how they can go back through a phone and they can go back to the beginning of the conversation where it all started and bring it all up to date. And they can use that as a way to incriminate you. So we need to be careful about what we say in our text messages too. If you have an argument with someone, pick the phone up, call it. Now, they can be recording you too. So you got to be careful about that as well. Make sure that whatever words you speak doesn't come back to haunt you, because those same fiery darts that you threw can be thrown back at you, and they hurt worse. You know how they always say you can give the medicine, but you can't take it? It's the same way. Be careful about what you say. Another fiery dart is the way people do you, the way they treat you. They do malicious things. You key their car, they'll flatten your tires. You bust out their windshield, they'll break out everything on your car that they could possibly break out. You do this to them, they'll do that. That escalates. These are fiery darts. The one thing about it is this. the way you respond. That is how you know if you are walking the true walk with God or you walking against God. People can do some very, very bad things. They can do some downright evil things. It's how you take it. And I'm not going to say that the human side of you will not come out. Yes, it's okay to get angry. But what do you do with that anger? Do you revenge? Do you avenge? Or do you leave it alone and pray about it? The most effective way to defeat any evil done to you is in prayer. That's the most effective way. Because with prayer, if that evil one don't know how to pray, you got them beat already. You know how to kneel down on your knees and go up in prayer and just seek God's face. A lot of people say, well, look, my house can be burning down. They're going to have to pay for what they do. I know they have to pay, but would you rather let God pay them back, or you try to do evil for evil? The Bible makes it very clear. You live by the sword, you'll die by the sword. You live by a gun, you'll die by a gun. You live by a knife, you'll die by a knife. If you live by evil, guess what? You're going to die by evil. It all works the same. That shield of faith is knowing how to fight. You can protect yourself by saying, Lord, I surrender myself unto you. I don't know why they did what they did. You see, this has happened to me. They tore up my car. They burnt down my house. They fired me from my job. You see what they have done to me. Why is this happening to me, Father? I'm not going to take a vengeance. I'm not going to be vengeance or take vengeance into my own hand. I'm not going to revenge against them. I'm going to step back and I'm going to let you have it. That's standing behind the shield of faith. It's difficult. Many people will say, boy, that's crazy. I'm not going to do all that. They might be crazy. But if we learn how to do this and stand behind the shield of faith, meaning standing behind God, God is the biggest shield we need. By using the word of God to our advantage and learning how to live. A lot of people will say, well, you know what? That's easy for you to say. It's easy to say, yes. Doing it, it is going to be difficult. Especially if you're looking at many years of history within a household. Or you looking at, you just bought this car. Or you just received this job, or whatever it is that you have lost. Yes, it's hard. And many will say it's ridiculous. But are you building up your treasures on this earth, or are you building up your treasures in heaven? Having that shield of faith is not a wimp. That's actually of great courage. Because that other person is going to look for you to do something so they can get at you again. That's what Satan does. He attacks and then he'll get back at you. He'll do something to attack you. Because he wants to knock you off your solid ground and say, oh, I knew that they wasn't so perfect in their solid ground. Lord knows I am nowhere near perfect. That there are times where I have to bite my lip because something was said to me that was very inappropriate. Or they did something that it infuriated me. But God said, hold your peace. And let me fight this battle. When I learned to keep my mouth shut and I started praying, if I'm going to say anything, I'm going to talk to God. And that is my transition. That's my transformation. Because I'm trying to turn from my old ways of doing things. Now, if you come to me and ask me a question, I'm going to be honest with you. If that answer is not what you wanted to hear and you're ready to argue, I will shut down and say, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to argue with you because I'm afraid of you. I'm not going to argue with you because now I'm going to be stepping over the line. And you know whose line I'll be stepping over? God's. Because the first thing He's going to say, did not tell you not to say anything else. Leave it alone. You gave them the answer. They didn't like it. They ready to argue. Shut up. That's technically what God will be telling. Be quiet. When you use that shield of faith, it's protecting you from the wiles of this world. The fiery darts, yes, they're going to come. And you can hear what they speak. But you put your shield up and say, no. You know how when kids used to tell you when they were little, talk to the hand. That was in my generation when I was going to talk to the hand. Mama would have said, no, I'm not talking to you. I'm going to break that hand. That's what I'm going to do. But, that's a whole nother situation. But when you use the shield of faith, you're saying, no, talk to God. You look at God and you say these things. Because arguments do not get you anywhere, but in jail, in trouble, or in a grave. That's about basically all that an argument can do for you. But it doesn't get you anywhere because no one is listening. Everybody's talking, but no one is listening. And that is where I found myself like, you know what, Lord, I can't do that anymore. I don't feel like arguing anymore. So I walk away. I put on my shoes of peace and I'll walk away. Now they're infuriated. They mad at me because how dare you walk away from me? You heard me talking to you. Yeah, I heard you. But I don't have to argue with you. I'm not going to keep that argument. And so they'll let them say whatever they got to say. And they got the last word. They got they say all day, they just blow up and this is, they said everything that they wanted to say. And people standing by, ooh, she cussed her out. Ooh, did you hear what that? And she didn't even say anything. No, I didn't say anything. A few weeks later, I hear that something happened. I don't take pleasure in anybody's calamities. Where one of my children say, hey, mama, did you hear so-and-so and so-and-so? You hear what happened? And they tell me what happened. And I say, oh, my. That's so sad to hear. Now, just a few weeks ago, they were cussing me out. And everybody thought it was funny. Oh, they just laughed. Oh, she told her off. She's not all of that. She's not all of this and all that. Yeah. But I use that shield of faith. That if God don't avenge me now, He'll avenge me at a later time. Because the Bible said, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. It's not mine to avenge. And God avenged it, and they lost so much more. They thought they said all that they had to say. But when something happened to them, it was, oh, poor me. And I didn't bother her. I didn't, but I prayed for them. And I just asked the Lord just to have mercy upon their soul. I asked them that for a speedy recovery, and I prayed for them. But I didn't gloat about it. You know, I didn't take pleasure in it. That's turning over a new leaf. And that's hard to do. Trust me, it is. Because you would rather fight. You'd rather have an argument with them. But I wasn't going to waste my energy or my time. I let it go. So when we are looking at the shield of faith, let's put it up and protect ourselves. And whatever it is that Satan is throwing at you, just say, look at them, Lord. Look at what they're doing. Do something about them, Lord. I'm going to hold my peace and let you fight my battle. This is Kim with Standing on Solid Ground. You have yourself a wonderful and blessed day.